Hi guys, I am filming another What's on my currently reading shelf. What month are we on? May was a little bit of a disaster, I have to say. I seem to be saying this a lot, but there were just so many books that I either was looking forward to and then hated, or it was just ones that were just okay, but they didn't really astound me or anything like that. They weren't the most amazing books I've ever read. We are about halfway through June at the moment. I thought, well, I'll just do this shelf since I've finished my previous shelf completely. I did start a book from this shelf, but it was my mum's book, so it doesn't really count, and that's what I'm sticking to. So here is June's currently reading shelf as it stands at the moment, with all the books currently on it. Let's have a little look and see what we have for this upcoming month or more, hopefully. First things first, we have what I'm pretty confident is a self-published book called Memories of an Angel Part 1, The Essence by Lee Irwin Allen. I don't remember exactly why I got this, but it sounds kind of intriguing, I have to say, and the text is pretty dense compared to the last self-published book I read, which was just double-spaced lines full of errors. Hopefully this one will be better. It does sound quite interesting, but it's a part 1, and I'm getting to that stage in my life now. It's like, part 1? Really? Really? Next up we have Titanic Captain, The Life of Edward John Smith, which is by G.J. Cooper. And I'm not sure how this will be. I'm pretty sure I've already skipped it once. I like everything about the Titanic, as everyone well knows, but I prefer reading about the Titanic. These kind of books, it's like what happened before they went on the Titanic, particularly someone who was, Titanic was going to be his last kind of sailing. Was it? Sailing? I think that's the reason why I skipped it. I did try A Titanic Love Story again, which was about Ida and Isidore Strauss, but I just could not get into it again. I'm not sure why. I've got a whole bunch of Terminator books coming up at the moment. Now, I've not looked at what order they're supposed to be in. One of the guys a couple of years ago now at work gave me 3 of them. I've never actually read them, but they're mostly by, there's a couple by S.M. Stirling here, and I have this one, which is the New John Connor Chronicles, which is book 2. I'm not sure exactly what I have. I may need to check. But this is An Evil Hour by Russell Blackford. See, I don't think I have book 1. So I may need to check that. Sounds kind of good, but I'm pretty sure that they are, well, the ones I've looked up and the ones that I still have on my wish list can be quite expensive. They're either out of print, but I will definitely try and look up Dark Futures as well. So I've ordered Dark Futures, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to come until between the 2nd till the 12th of July. Hopefully it'll come before then. If not, I'll be skipping these books and doing whatever is after them, or I may read the other ones that I've got on my list at the moment. Next up we've got Terminator 2, The Future War. This is one of the ones by S.M. Stirling. I'm pretty sure it's these books that the guy at work gave to me. The final battle has begun. Who will triumph, man or machine? Well, I think we already know the answer to that. There's not much of a blurb on that, as you can see. Sometimes there's a better blurb on the inside. Why they didn't just put that in the back, I don't know, but I think this is the 3 of them that I have here, hopefully anyway. Then I've got Rising Storm, again S.M. Stirling, again annoying blurb on the back. I will need to check the order of these to make sure I get them correct. I still have John's note in here as well. It'll be interesting to see how these compare to the films. But I've also got Infiltrator here as well. Same again. Actually has a better blurb on the back this time. These are the official companion novels. Interesting. An Arnold Terminator unit. Maybe this is the first book actually. And it's in the guise of a woman. So I think I'll put that to the beginning because obviously that's the next one that I have to read. Then I have Terminator Hunt, which is by Allston. Sounds kind of weird. Not sure how that'll be. And next up we have Terminator Salvation. Now this is Cold War by Greg Cox. And I don't think it's a novelisation of the actual film itself, like another one of the spin-offs. The thing is with Terminator Salvation is I've always said that I don't like the film. I went to see it at the cinema when it was originally out and I hated it. I walked out during the film. It's one of the very few films that I've actually walked out of. I tried watching it again recently because I figured enough time has passed that I might give it another go and see if my feelings have changed. My feelings haven't changed. I managed to stick through to the end of the film this time and I like the concept. I like some parts of it. I don't like the way it's told or the way it finishes, anything like that. I just don't like it. It's the same with the most recent Terminator film as well with Emilia Clarke. That has its good points, but again it's not very well told and I like the idea as well behind that. So moving on from the Terminator books, we have Bumped by McCafferty. I don't know how long I've had this. I have a feeling I've had it quite some time. It sounds like a kind of Handmaid's Tale style of story. It sounds kind of interesting, especially like teen pregnancy is such a big thing. I've never been affected by it. And next up I have To Say Nothing of the Dog by Connie Willis. Obviously I think I've mentioned this before in other videos. I do love Connie Willis. The first book I ever read of hers was the Doomsday book, which I really enjoyed, and I really enjoyed Blackout and All Clear as well, which were really good. The one that I didn't like, and my mind has suddenly gone blank as to the name, it just wasn't good, didn't make much sense. This sounds kind of interesting. It's going back to her whole time travel thing, which I loved from Doomsday books. I have The Last Anniversary by Liane Moriarty. This is, I have a feeling that I've got these from elsewhere because this is the third book that I found where it's not a proper barcode. I also found a duplicate as well, so yay me! I have 2 of 3 wishes. I mean, there's quite a lot of these abandoned baby, obviously. There's a lot of books about this kind of subject, and they're quite interesting sometimes. I find them quite intriguing. Hopefully this one will be good, because I didn't like the other Liane Moriarty book I read. I have Everything, which I presume this is called, by Nicola Yoon. There's also a film out of this. I'm going to see what I think about the book first before I see the film, because I think the DVD is actually quite cheap at the moment. The last time I checked it was something like maybe £6.99 or something like that. I have Monument 14, which is by Emmy Laybourne, and I'm not sure why I have this. I think it might have been cheap when I initially bought it. Angel Fever by L.A. Weatherly. Now, I've read Angel and I've read Angel Fire as well, and this is the third book in the series. I will probably have to go back and reread Angel and Angel Fire because I haven't read them in quite some time now and I'm not confident I remember what happens. I mean, it is quite a thick book considering it's for a young adult, and the three of them are all quite thick as well. So when you see me reading this, and if you haven't seen me reading Angel and Angel Fire before it, remind me to read those, won't you? Now we have Hourglass by Myra. I want to say McIntyre, but I don't think that's right somehow. I have this one, and you also see the next one. I actually found the sequel first. This was coming up on my shelf and I thought, I'm sure there's another book that I have, I'm sure. And I went through it and I found this. This is actually the first one in the series. I like the cover of this. I also like the cover of the next one. I can't think if there's two or if there's more than two at the moment, but it certainly sounds quite intriguing. And then we have Timepiece, which as you can see is the sequel, and another intriguing cover there, which I quite like. And the dress is ever so slightly shiny. I'm not sure with this one if it's direct sequel or if it can be read as a standalone novel as well. It'll be interesting to see that, because from the initial blurb there it doesn't sound like it's a direct sequel, it just features the Hourglass organisation again. And then I have another couple of novelisations coming up. I have the 13 going on 30, which is by Krista Roberts, and it's quite a thin book as you can see. It's not majorly big, but you've got the photos in the middle, and it's quite reasonably sized text, but it's only 142 pages. But I am looking forward to this one. I love the film. It's one of my favourite films, so I'm hoping the novelisation will be the film with some added scenes, hopefully. All of my batteries are like beyond dead at the moment, so I'm trying to go like between two batteries and charge one while the other has a little bit of charge on it, so I'm trying to speed through this as quickly as I can. But next up is Stepmom, or Stepmom, which is by Maggie Robb, and I have not seen this film in years. I didn't know it was a novelisation until I stumbled across it. It's quite a thick one, there's no photos in the middle here. It's quite, I think this is going to be quite a sad book, so it's a sad film, certainly. It's 232 pages, so it's quite a bit lengthier when you compare it to something like 13 going on 30 there. I have another Connie Willis book. This is, I want to say Bellwether. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but it has quite an interesting cover art there. Sounds kind of intriguing. It doesn't look like there's much of the time travel aspect in this book as there has been in, say, All Clear, Blackout, Doomsday, and to say nothing of the dog. But it's quite a thin one for her. She is known for her lengthy writing. I'm hoping this will be good. Passage, that was the name of the other Connie Willis book, Passage. It was the one about, kind of had like a Titanic ring lifeboat thing on it, and it was about near-death experiences. It was such a weird book. So weird. I wouldn't recommend it out of the Connie Willis books. Two Summers by Amy Friedman, and I don't remember why I have this book. Yeah, it sounds kind of interesting actually. It reminds me of kind of Sliding Doors, but I think I saw a review of it, or one of my friends had read it or something along those lines, so I bought it because if you do a good review then I want to see it, and it reminds me of Sliding Doors. But but it looks quite nice. I like the cover art. Very sliding doors-ish as well. 1,000 Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. I think I've read another of her books and it was a Titanic book. I may be thinking of the wrong author, I'll have to double check. But I didn't like her Titanic book, but this story kind of intrigued me. I also have the second book, which is 10,000 Skies Above You. Pretty sure this is a sequel. I think there's a third book, but that's still on my wish list at the moment. I mean, that bit where it says Paul's soul is splintered into 4 pieces kind of reminds me a little bit of Voldemort, or he who should not be named. But it does sound quite interesting. It was quite hard to get a hold of. I think if these two are good, then I'll have to get the third one. But they were quite expensive. They weren't cheap. They weren't overly expensive, but they were more than I would pay for like a standard paperback. Now, I love this film, but I never actually knew this existed. I was looking up random novelizations and I either typed in like movie novelizations to Google, or this came up in like 80s movie novelization. But this is Beaches and it's by Iris Rainer Darts. I want to say Rainier, but there's not an extra I in there, so this is basically the story of the film, but I think this was before the film. Originally published in 1985, and the copyright is 1985 as well. There's also Beaches 2 by the same author, which is making me think these were published before the film. There's never been a Beaches 2 film. I don't see why there would be. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen the film. Kind of ruins the end here. I think this will be quite interesting because obviously it's seeing Cece after the events of the first film, which if you haven't seen it, spoiler again of what happens. She's looking after a little 8-year-old girl. So I'm hoping this will be good. I hope it lives up to the original film there. Next up I have When Summer Ends by Isabella Ray. Now, why do I have this book? I have a feeling that I'm one of these people that will go into your house and steal your books when you're not there. To be fair, right, this book was sitting in a pile of very messy books on the floor, which I think were going to be going out anyway, so I tidied up the books and stole this one. So if you're missing this book, wondering what's happened to it, I have it. I may not have told you, or I may have done, I can't remember. It's been a couple of years. But I have this book. But it's quite a, like, self-published, yeah, it's self-published. It's quite a hefty book as well. It has some weight behind it and it's got quite dense text as well. But yeah, don't let me into your house when it's unattended. I will look through your books and I will steal one. Sorry. I have the novelisation of Zootropolis. My battery is about to die again, but I only have another 3 books after this one, so I may have to swap out the battery just to get that extra little burst. But I love this film. I hope the novelisation will be good. There are photos included. I am Judy. That's all you need to know. Nick needs to be like in my life right now. But it's quite a short book again. It's only 125 pages of quite large text, so it won't take me long. I have The Night Book by Richard Madeley, is it? I want to say Madeley or Madley, but yes, that is Richard Madeley or Madley, who you will recognise from TV This Morning and being married to what's her face. I don't know, I think I got this cheap. It's been read before. It's not, like, the spine's not too bad, but I think I've picked it up from the charity shop. So I'm not sure how it's going to be. I haven't read this other book. I think I have it somewhere, possibly, or it's on my wish list, but who knows with my books anymore. I have the Wreck-It Ralph Jr. novelisation. Again, like Zootropolis, quite skinny. I bought this used. It's got a crack in the spine there. And the cover's not exactly the best, but this has photos in it as well. I wasn't sure about Wreck-It Ralph. Like when it first came out, I was like, not sure how this is going to be. I actually really enjoy it. I think I saw it around the same time as I saw Big Hero 6. I think they both came out on Steelbook and I bought them both. And I watched Big Hero 6 first. Possibly I might be wrong in saying that, but I definitely saw them around a similar time. And for me, I preferred Big Hero 6, but this is still just a brilliant little film. And I think it'll be interesting. I think there's a sequel coming out as well. I liked seeing all the kind of goofy, old school, retro video games. 125 pages seems to be the standard for junior novelisations at least. Last but not least on this shelf is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I have been looking forward to reading this book for quite some time. It sounds so interesting. It's quite a thick book. As you can see, it's quite thick, but it does seem to have been everywhere. I saw it in the charity shop and I grabbed it. It is 530 pages as well. Hopefully I didn't see too much of the ending there. I have a tendency to do that. I have a tendency to look at see how much a page count is and then try and avoid looking at the text on the last page. I am not Harry, so I don't read the end of a book before I start it. In case you die, wasn't it? Wasn't the reason behind that? Before my battery dies once more, this is the June to read shelf right there. There'll be some good books on here. It's a shelf I'm actually looking forward to. I think there's a few books on here like the Claudia Gray books and When Summer Ends, Beaches, the Terminator book, Connie Willis books, finally finishing off the Angel series, Hourglass novels there. I'm looking forward to those books. There's a couple on here, the Terminator books could go either way, couldn't they? Really don't know. In fact, you could probably say that for every book on here, but I'm hoping this is going to be a nice solid shelf and it'll take me well into July, hopefully. I will leave this here for just now. I will continue to do my usual and link the books down below. So if there's any you're interested in, you can see my ratings or you can follow me on Goodreads as well. See you guys again soon for another video. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and any comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Bye!